What's going on, my people? And you are my people. I'm doing a recap here on a story that I did the other day about six-year-old kids and 8-year-old kids, and little kids being arrested. And here we go with this one. This is a recap on this one, and it was in Orlando, Florida. A school resource officer has been suspended while police investigate while he arrested two children younger than 10 years old. One of the children's grandmother says her 6-year-old granddaughter was arrested after she had a temper tantrum. Said she reportedly kicked a staff member during a temper tantrum. Kirkland said the school knows her grandmother can be prone to temper tantrums. She suffers from sleep apnea. Kirkland said she rushed to the juvenile assessment center when she found out that her granddaughter had been arrested for battery. I asked them for her, and they told me she was currently in the process of being fingerprinted. And I think when they said printed is when it hit home to me. I'm like, fingerprinted? And they said yes. And they escorted me to an office, and on the desk in that office were two mugshot pictures of my 6-year-old granddaughter. So the Orlando police said they stopped the juvenile assessment center processing the 6-year-old once they found out the school resource officer did not get the supervisor's approval before arresting her. Orlando Police Department policy states a supervisor must approve the arrest of anyone younger than 12 years old. Kirkland wants to make sure her granddaughter was not fully processed because she has paperwork that said her granddaughter has a court appearance for the battery charge next month. It's unclear what happened in the case of the 8-year-old student who was also arrested at that school the same day. So this clown got suspended. He arrested two children, both black, one 6-year-old and one 8-year-old. And so far, he's been suspended. So suspension is not enough. This sucker should be fired for doing this dumb shit. Okay, here we go. Jim Jones here, rapper Jim Jones, if people don't know who he is. After being tangled up in Tekashi 6ix9ine's legal issues, things seem to have gotten worse for Jim Jones. According to sources in New Jersey, the New Jersey mansion that Jim Jones shared with longtime partner Chrissy Lampkin has been lost to foreclosure and sold at a sheriff's sale for just, drumroll, $100. When the couple bought the home in 2006, they took out a $680,000 mortgage with a 6% interest rate. That left them with monthly payments of $4,467 a month. Yet, per a lawsuit filed by the U.S. National Bank Association, Jones and Lampkin hadn't paid the mortgage since 2010. Under the terms of their agreement with the bank, they were now responsible for the entire amount after defaulting in payments. Shortly after they were hit with the lawsuit, Jones and Chrissy reportedly struck a deal with the bank that would allow them to pay off their debt. In doing so, the couple would have been able to get their home out of foreclosure. Something appears to have gone wrong with this plan as the court has issued its final judgments against the couple. Despite this, Jones is still focused on making music. In May, the rapper dropped his El Chapo album. This project is done in full collaboration with Heartmakers, and received a lot of praise. He lost his house. $100, man. They sold his crib for $100. Wow. $680,000 house, and he lost it at a police auction for $100. Okay, here we go. This is a feel-good story here. Tommy Smith and John Carlos. A lot of you young people probably don't know who they are, but these were two brothers that raised the Black Power fist during the Olympics, the Olympics in Mexico. I believe that was back in 1968. So here's and they, so the U.S. Olympic Committee kind of really came down on them hard. I believe they held back their gold medals and all kind of stuff. Then they caught hell when they got back to the States, couldn't get jobs and all this. So here we go. 50 years later, after the U.S. Olympic Committee vilified Tommie Smith and John Carlos for making a stand against racism and discrimination, banishing them from the Mexico City team and leaving them to face scorn and condemnation at home, is issuing a mea culpa on November 1st. Smith and Carlos would be inducted into the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Hall of Fame, an honor bestowed because their character, conduct, and off-field contributions, as well as their athletic achievements. It sends the message that maybe we had to go back in time and make some conscious decisions about whether we're right or wrong, Carlos told USA Sports Today. And they had a talk on Monday. So they've come to the conclusion that, hey man, we were off base in terms of humanity relative to the human rights era. Smith and Carlos were two of the best American athletes in their day. Smith won gold in the 200 meters at the 68 Olympics, setting a world record that would stand for 11 years, while Carlos was a bronze medalist. At home, however, their country was in turmoil. The civil rights movement had forced Americans to take a hard look at who we were as a country, and the answer was often disappointing. The noble promise of all citizens being equal had been exposed as a lie, with segregation and discrimination sowing hate and bitter distrust. So that's congratulations to them. 50 plus years later, 51 years later, they're finally going to get their due as far as being recognized by the Olympics, and that's a good thing. So, that's a good thing for them. I'm happy for them to be able to get what they, finally get some kind of recognition for all that hard work they put in trying to get to the Olympics. And and like I said, Tommie Smith, he broke records in running in the Olympics. It lasted. Okay, here we go. We got this. That's just some stories. That we try to do, and we try to make sure that everything is a-okay. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So it's all good. It's all good, folks. Peace.